that this was going to be like a challenging season, and that they were going to be counting on, on Aaliyah to add a lot. When you take somebody like Elena Deladon out of the lineup, it's obviously a big hole. But I'm happy that it takes a while for rookies to get up to speed. So I'm happy for Aaliyah.
So 2 years is a pretty good commitment. 5 years old, it's a long time commitment.
Yeah, it is. But at the same time, there's nothing that says, somebody can sign a lifetime contract. That doesn't mean they're going to coach to the end of their life. So I thought it was a good number. I thought it gave me enough time to do what I need to do, and that doesn't mean I won't stay longer. But for right now, that's what I'm happy with. That's a good number for me right now.
What is it that you need to do?
What do we need to do? I think we need to, build on what we've done these last 5 or 6 years. There's been a lot of close calls, a lot of uncertainty with the lineup, and I would like to see what it's like if you could string together 3 or 4 years with the way it used to be, where there were no injuries. You had everybody available that was on your team, and I'd like to see what it would be like if we had the opportunity to do that once again. So, I really like this group. I like our young players. So, I'm excited. I'm excited about it. I think last year maybe changed my mind about things. I think if you'd have told me before last year, I would say, it's getting harder and harder to do this job, which it is. Don't get me wrong. In your right mind, you would want no part of this at my age, because it's totally opposite of totally foreign to what we grew up, doing in this profession. And you can't do your job the way you used to. And everybody says, well, you got to adapt. Well, how do you adapt? You go out and find the most money and buy the most players. That's how you adapt. That's not adapting. That's just giving in to what it is today. That's great. And I know everybody has to do it, and I'm okay with it. But I also think there's a lot of kids out there that really, really want this experience, and I want to believe in them, and I want to trust that there's still a lot of those kids out there that are not looking to play at 4 schools in 4 years, that want to commit to something long term, and I think they're out there, and I'm going to try to find them.
What was the reaction when you told them?
What's that?
What was the team's reaction when you told them?
Oh, I don't tell them anything about that stuff. I didn't know Dave Benedict was going to tell the whole crowd. I thought there was just going to be a press release down the road. But Paige don't care. She's only going to be here this year anyway, so she probably is. She thinks I stayed because she stayed. So you can't even have that conversation with her. So,
Geno, how do all the injured players look coming back?
Well, rehab for all of them is a different timetable for all of them. We got a couple of them. Azie's doing her thing, trying to get back. Caroline's doing her thing, trying to get herself squared away. Jenna's practicing. Yana's close. Who am I missing? Aubrey's doing her thing. So the timetable for all these guys, it varies, but some are real close, some are still, a little bit away, but I'm optimistic that all of them are going to be good to go, at some point. I'm not going to say they're all going to be good to go in September, but they'll all be good to go at some point. Caroline? No. Caroline, a lot of her, like last summer when, she really didn't do anything for about 2 or 3 months. And that's the best she's felt in a long, long time. Then we go to Italy and she has a, freak thing. So I think time away really helps her. And she's got all these exercises that she does and all this stuff. So I'm optimistic.
How was Caitlin fitting on?
Caitlin? Terrific. She's terrific. She's a little bit older. She's played that position for 4 years. A lot of the stuff that Carla does is similar to what we do. We've only had a couple workouts, and she's very, very impressive, to say the least. I really, really like her. Really like her. She's tough. She's smart. She's just easy to coach. Great. All the new guys have been. Sarah's been great. I think she surprised some people we thought she was good. She's maybe even better than that. Allie's been great. She surprised us. I think she showed us some things quickness wise and just IQ wise, and the way she shoots it. And Morgan's been working out, and then she did some individual workout, and she had this hamstring thing back in high school, and so we're kind of taking it slow with her. But yeah, it's been we've only gotten together twice, and it's been really good. I've enjoyed it.
Geno, having spent 40 years at UConn, and the way college sports have changed, particularly in the last 5 or 10 years, do you feel like you have a unique experience and perspective to offer the athletic department as a whole to help, I don't know if adapt is the right word, or just deal with everything? There's a lot unknown, a lot changing already. I would think a lot of people view you as a valuable resource and sounding board, given all your experience as a UConn coach.
Yeah, that would normally be the case, Mike, but I don't think anyone knew how to prepare for this, what we're going through right now. And I think a better person to ask that question to would be Jim Penders. And how do you get some Division III transfers to come and play like major league prospects at UConn and go out and win the games that they won? So maybe that's where it lies. Maybe it lies in, if you can't get the absolute superstars that are one and done and they're only going to be there for 6 months, then maybe your next best bet is get the guys that are hungry to win.
Yeah.
And I think that I've obviously had a lot of success with that. Get kids that are hungry to win, hungry to be part of a championship program. And that's about the best I can offer, but it's not going to be easy, obviously, especially in this new, revenue sharing thing that's coming down the road. I don't know. We're going to have to get really creative to figure this one out.
And for you, another 5-year contract
This is going to be so good. My mouth is so dry.
Another 5-year contract doesn't mean there won't be another 5 years, and it doesn't even necessarily mean you need to fulfill the 5 years. Is it something that you'll reevaluate every year?
Just figure it out as I go along. I've always said this, you're excited about going to school. You're excited about going in the gym. You're excited about, the kids that you have or the kids that you think you're going to get. And it makes it worthwhile. It makes it worthwhile. It makes it feel like you're having an impact. Mm-hmm. The worst thing that happened, you go through a stretch where you feel like I'm not impacting this. I'm not having the impact I used to have. And you think it's you, and you think it's time to move on. Then, things change, and all of a sudden you realize, with a little bit of change, with a couple different, add a couple pieces here, now you realize, I still have an impact. So it's a combination. You have to be authentic, and you have to get kids that are really buying into all this. That's and I think that's the hardest. That's the hardest part right now is finding those kids. And as I said, I think we're really fortunate here. Our sophomores that were terrific last year, right? Yeah. And our freshmen that I think are going to be terrific. For the most part, the NIL stuff never came up. It wasn't like here's my offer sheet. It was obviously we're going to take care of you, but if that's going to be the first thing you talk to me about, then that's a non-starter.
It seems like the last 5 years you've got the kids that you really like and like each other.
Yeah. And I think kids like Paige have a lot to do with that, because you see a lot of stuff right there right now, right? You're seeing a lot of stuff in the WNBA where there's a lot of jealousy. There's a lot of, sniping back and forth, and maybe that's human nature, Somebody's getting more attention than you. Somebody's making more money than you. Somebody's, elevated, and you feel like it's at your expense now, as opposed to realizing that when that happens to one kid, now it raises your level too. And I think we're fortunate that in that Paige, not a single kid on our team resents anything that she has, because she treats them like gold. And to me, that's the key, I think. Getting kids that appreciate it, and I think you said it, getting great leaders is one thing, getting great followers is equally as important, and not everybody understands that all the time.
Is the roster set? No more additions?
No more additions unless some 6'5" Serbian who's related to Jokic calls me tomorrow, then we're changing our roster. But other than that, we're pretty set. We're pretty set.
You touched on it, but the job that Jim Penders has here.
Fuck. I've been talking to him throughout the series, and I said it's like June madness, I call it, for him. I said, no matter what kind of season they've had, as soon as June comes around, if they get to June, those suckers are hard to beat. And I'm sure, like, you watch at ESPN and they talk about all these baseball teams that, it's a great win by them, great win to win the regionals, great. And UConn, they just like poo-poo it. We just beat Duke and and Oklahoma. Weren't they both like top 10 teams in the country, or top 15 teams in the country? And it was like, no big deal. So what? UConn's expected to win these games in baseball? Well, maybe that says a lot about Jim's program. That they've proven that they can go anywhere, play anybody, anywhere, anytime, and don't be surprised if they win. And you take Division III players that come in and have a huge impact. Huge. That's part of it is the kids, and part of it is, because you always have to ask yourself, how much of a kid's success is their inherent talent, and how much is it they got the exact kind of coaching that they needed? It's probably a combination. Like, if it's 50-50, that's great. If it's 80% talent and 20% coaching, but generally speaking, UConn baseball ain't getting that kid. Right? I mean, they had a great run with, Springer and all those guys, right? But generally here, the kids that Jim gets, maybe it's 50-50. Maybe they bring half of it and he provides the other half, and that's a winning combination, man.
He said that in the past, that he kind of like what you do. You'll play anyone, anywhere.
Oh, no
anytime.
question.
If
No
you
question.
Look, they traveled the most miles this year. They go over 30,000 miles.
No question. And, you know, because of where we're located, he's got to do that. And he's not worried about taking losses early in the season or in the middle of the season, you know, whenever he has to.
I think at one time or another, you've actually called him the best coach in UConn.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Hurley's a close second now.
You might challenge me to a fist fight if I like that.
Who? Hurley? No.
To do what he does against.
I mean, that's why I probably had to sign my contract. I had to sign it before Danny gets his, because there won't be anything left probably after he signs this one.
Yeah, to do what Penders does against those schools.
I mean, think about all the advantages they have. Their season, the weather, the resources, everything. And you're in New England. When's the last time a New England school did what they're doing? The last 6 years. You have to go back to when Maine was dominating back in the day. It just doesn't happen up here in this part of the world. And, you know, he's got a unique touch.
Geno,
I admire him a lot.
you've sent many high-profile college players into the WNBA.
Yeah.
And you just alluded to Caitlin. Do you think what she's experiencing exceeds what players previously have been put through from a hazing perspective?
Yeah. Every rookie has to go through the growing pains of being a professional basketball player. Mm-hmm. And the more you get, the more attention you get. And today's world, attention is number one. And attention brings money. So is she facing the rookie challenge, the rookie hardships that are inherent with being a rookie? Yes. She's also being targeted. And I don't remember when Jordan came into the league, guys looking to go out and beat him up. I don't remember when Bird and Magic came into the league and elevated the NBA. I don't remember them getting targeted and getting beat up just because of who they were and the attention they were getting. You know? Hey, there were a lot of great basketball players before Jordan, Bird, and Magic came into the league. And I never heard one of them say, hey, why didn't you do this when we were playing? Because nobody felt like it. It wasn't the time. Appreciate the fact that now's the time. I get it. It's long overdue. Why are you blaming that kid? It's not her fault. Because you would trade places with her in a minute, but you are not there. You're not her. And that she's getting what she's getting.